Welcome. My name is Tori Cooper. I use she, her pronouns, and I'm the director of HRC's Transgender Justice Initiative. I am super excited today to have a conversation with some amazing folks, and we're going to talk about a history-making grant in cooperation with Gilead Sciences. Over the last 2 years, Gilead has proudly supported HRC's work with our HBCU program, our HIV Health Equity program, and also the Transgender Justice Initiative. And we're really excited and honored to be the recipients of HRC's largest grant in the history of the company. Can you believe that? A $5 million grant that's going to continue to support over the next 3 years HBCU, HIV Health Equity, and also TJI as we lovingly refer to it. Now, I'd like to introduce our amazing panelists today. Darwin Thompson, who is Director of Community Affairs at Gilead Sciences. Vanessa Castro, who is Deputy Director of HRC's HIV and Health Equity. Ahmea Pacheco-Branch, who is an amazing advocate, community leader, consultant, and also a recent graduate of the Transgender Justice Initiative's Elevate Leadership program. The 3-year, $5 million grant between Gilead Sciences and HRC is historic for a number of reasons. Number one, it's really the first and most impactful way that HRC has engaged with Black and Brown and all kinds of different folks from communities that have traditionally been underserved. And we're really excited because it's the single largest grant that HRC has received in its history. And so we're really honored to be a part of that with you all. And so, Darwin, you were really the fire starter, if you will, to get this work started. Let's hear a little bit about why you think this relationship, this partnership, this collaboration that we're working on is going to be so successful and why it's so necessary right now.
Thank you, Tori. I think the thing that we have to look at first is it's already successful, right? So this is by far one of the most comprehensive programs that I think we've supported at Gilead that really works to tackle marginalized communities, from the work that you guys are doing with the Transgender Justice Initiative, to the media work that you guys are doing, and the work that you guys are doing around HBCUs. And so if I point out something singular about the program is the graduates, like the one on my left, who have gone through your programs, who are making meaningful impact in the world, not only in their local communities, but also in society, right? But then also thinking about just the media arm that HRC has when it comes to amplifying an issue. So if I go back to marriage equality, right? And HRC being able to really galvanize communities when it comes to a single issue. I'm thinking about HIV prevention efforts, right? And HRC being able to continue to think about how we move the needle forward within these communities that are marginalized historically. So I'm excited around the partnership. I'm excited around continuing to build on the work that we did the last 2 years, but also think about the work we're going to do the next 3 years and have HRC at the forefront of leading this work.
I'm really excited about that, and thank you for adding that into the conversation. And one of the things that we talk a lot about at HRC is we're a non-traditional partner. We're excited because this isn't the type of work that we've done traditionally, or at least in much smaller amounts. And now, thanks to this new partnership, this collaborative partnership, we're really going to be able to build on the work that we've already started under the leadership of our previous president, under our new president, under the former director of HIV Health Equity, and under our new director, who is Tori in Baskerville.
Non-traditional partnerships are one of the key ways that we're going to be able to end the HIV epidemic for everyone everywhere. So we have to bring people like HRC, organizations like HRC to the table, right? They're not just one organization that we want to partner with, but this is a start for Gilead, and we're excited for you guys to sort of be a pilot around what non-traditional partnerships look like in the HIV epidemic.
Wonderful, thank you for that. So Vanessa, you work a lot with folks who are on the ground. Thank you for the work that you're doing. Thank you for the work of Tori and for Jamie, for the entire team. Tell us a little bit about what folks on the ground are feeling and how the impact of this amazing collaborative is working with folks on the ground. How are we going to build on it? What have we already done?
Yeah, so as of right now, I think what kind of, to Darwin's point, the thing that really differentiates us is the fact that we're really trying to channel and focus on a grassroots-led approach. So we're really working side by side with our community-based organizations that are led by Black and Latiné leaders And we're trying to come together to really find solutions that community is delivering to us, right? So, for example, we see now that the CDC has recently delivered some data that has indicated that despite numbers going down around HIV incidence, we still have disparities persisting within Black and Latiné communities. So there's obviously work that we need to continue to do, and I think community is just ready to do it. So we're ready to stand side by side and support them in scaling up those efforts to finally end the HIV epidemic.
I love that. And you talked about disparities, and I immediately think of the word inequities. So can you tell us a little bit about how inequity shows up? And inequality, because inequity and equality are not necessarily the same thing, but they often go hand in hand.
Right, so I think there are a variety of ways in which that's showing up. Obviously, our approach to dealing with this epidemic isn't equitable. We still see, whether it was through the COVID response, right? We saw that Black and Latinx communities were impacted through the Mpox epidemic as well, another example. So it's obviously something that's continuing to be pervasive in what we're doing around HIV work. And so it's important for us to continue to find opportunities to, first and foremost, end HIV-related stigma and discrimination, work to really scale up opportunities for CBOs who have been dealing with waves of epidemics to have the resources, the staff, and the support to continue their programmatic work. And then finally, really just working together to ensure that we're actually addressing the epidemic head on.
I love that. Thank you. So, Ahmea, we're excited to have you today.
Thank you for having me.
So you've been a part, as I said earlier, you're a graduate of the Transgender Justice's Elevate Leadership Development Program. You were an absolutely amazing student, and now we're just adding to the leadership that you already have. So can you tell us a little bit about how your experience with Elevate and HRC and the Trans Justice Initiative has impacted the work that you're already doing?
So I want to say that when I first applied, I can start back from applying. I was so nervous to apply. When you think about 12 women who are making moves in this country and applying for such what I think is a prestigious cohort, I was super nervous. So when I got in, I thought I'm one of 12 women who this campaign thought of to say she is next to make moves in this. So that already boosted I didn't think that I was one of those women. I did not think they were gonna pick me. I felt like maybe give me a few more years and I can show. And so when I applied and I got the acceptance letter, it let me know that you are already where you need to be. I remember coming into DC and just being in awe, I'm actually making it. What has really helped me is our pitches, some of the talks that we've just had in and out of the cohort, being around so many women who were just like me. That was one of my biggest prayers when I first started this was, God, please put me around some women who are trying to make moves just like me. And so being here, it allowed me to be a part of that. I've now am in a sisterhood where I can text one of my girlfriends and say hey, what's going on in your area? What's going on? What are y'all doing over there? And these are women who are making moves in, California. They're making moves in Atlanta. They're making moves in Ohio. They're making moves, and I'm able to now be a part of that. And that is one thing that I think is super great, learning about how to build my own nonprofit. So all of the questions that I've literally had in my mind of how do I build a nonprofit? How do I do a great elevator pitch? How do I learn better time management? And one of the best things that you have told me that has helped me now from graduation, from the time I started, was everything that you do is an interview. It means everything to me. That means everything from what I put on my body, from what I smell like, from what my hair looks like, to being able to read a room. Just even being taught on how to read a room and who to know. I'm very much now being here, I'm a bubbly, super bubbly person. So I'm a super bubbly person. But now when you put me in a room, I kind of scan the room, I read the room, I hear a name, and then I'm able to do that. But being with this program literally helped me do that, and I can't be thankful enough.
Well, thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, because you brought in the energy that you wanted to receive.
Absolutely.
And that's important. So, each of you, so Vanessa, I have another question for you. We're really, really early into our 3-year grant. Can you share some of your accomplishments so far through the HIV and Health Equity Program and for HRC?
Yeah, I mean, we are so excited to continue this relationship and this partnership. And I think one of our biggest accomplishments is really starting our in-home self-testing, HIV self-testing kit program. We were able to distribute 5,000 testing kits into community. Yay. And that, for us, was kind of the framework to say, okay, let's do this. Now we're ready for version 2.0. So that gave us some information to kind of hopefully launch something that's new and improved that really focuses on, again, linkage to care and follow-up. We also have our CBO Leadership Council. They've been absolutely instrumental in developing all of our public education and awareness campaign, the My Body, My Health campaign, and really ensuring that the information and the resources that we've created and are providing to community are things that community wants to hear about, right? So that's been something that we've been really grateful for. And then finally, we have, our own version of our peer capacity building cohorts. We have Generate, and last year we had our inaugural class of 16 young people, LGBTQ young people, who came through and were able to develop skills around just HIV knowledge, being able to have conversations about how to organize, advocate for policy change. And just like Ahmea, they're doing amazing things. So it's been really exciting to track and see, what they're doing and how we might be able to grow and improve that program as well.
Wonderful. And I had the very wonderful opportunity to actually meet someone, a graduate of Generate. Mm-hmm. And I must say, you all are doing a great job.
Thank you.
Yes. So, Darwin, we know that Gilead is deeply committed to this work. You're deeply committed to making sure that not just people know their status, but they're doing something about it. You also are deeply committed to leadership development. So can you share a little bit from your perspective as the Director of Community Affairs with Gilead Sciences, what it means to have this collaborative work moving forward?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's for us, right, it's at the very core of our mission to ending the HIV epidemic for everyone everywhere, right? And it will take a more than medicine approach. And so when I think about these programs like Elevate and Generate, one of the things that inspires me and I'm super excited that we're able to do is really begin to train the next generation of people at the forefront of the epidemic, right? And those individuals are able to go back into their communities and diffuse that information to their communities. And so one of the things that we often hear is people who are unaware of their status are hard to reach, right? And they're not hard to reach. We have these leaders right here who know how to get them, who know how to engage them, who know community mobilization, right? They just need the tools and the resources to be able to do so. And so what HRC is really doing is being able to provide that sort of information and tools so that we can find those individuals who need to be engaged in the status neutral approach, whether you're living with HIV or whether you're not. There's a right tool for you, so you can either be undetectable or so that you can prevent yourself from contracting HIV. So that is what excites me every day.
Great, and I love the fact, as Vanessa just mentioned, HIV and Health Equity in partnership with some of our other programs, because TJI, we've helped to distribute some of those HIV tests. What it means is that at least 5,000 people will know their status, which means that all 5,000 of those people, plus their partners, they're either going to hopefully get linked to care if they have a positive result, and if they don't have a positive result, that they get connected to some PrEP services. So there's a whole bunch of people who will be directly impacted from that.
Absolutely.
So I'm looking forward to, can you tell I'm excited about what's coming next?
I am excited too. Anytime you talk about HIV and ending the epidemic and working ourselves out of a job, it's so exciting.
I love it. So how about a question for the two of you, for our ladies? All right, so HIV work is so important. So tell us, from your own perspectives, the I, we, and the you, which we often talk about in Elevate, tell us what does the future of HIV, what does the future of this work look like for you, for the communities that you serve? Vanessa?
I think it's really, it kind of boils down to my why, right? My why is we're doing this to Darwin's point, because health equity should be for everyone, period. It doesn't matter. HIV will impact everyone. So for me, it's so important to ensure that we continue, that be the driving force behind our work, and we are intentional. We're making sure that all the voices are brought to the table. I can speak, for example, to the fact of, we're being more intentional with our work. We are centering Black women, because you cannot end the epidemic if you do not include Black women. We have to include trans men as well within the HIV response. So for me, this is our moment to really build on this amazing opportunity that we got last year, and we're gonna go bigger and do better. So I think that my hope for the future in terms of this work is that we continue to cultivate these amazing relationships with the community-based organizations that are really at the front lines of this work and are, I think, ready for the support to be able to, again, just build out the effective work that they're doing in their communities.
Thank you. So as a consultant and a community advocate.
As a consultant community advocate, my why is I believe everybody should have great sex. So I really do, and I believe that you should be able to be honest and open about everything. So if we are helping eliminate HIV and AIDS, we are actually helping people with their sexual wellness. And that is one big thing that I believe in. Also is health equity. I believe that everybody should have equitable health. I think it's crazy that a lot of times we're in communities or areas where people still don't know that a community-based organization is right down the street from their home. Or how to be able to get information, or how to be able to navigate when they're there, or have an advocate. So that is why I do what I do, and I believe that in the future we will all have that. One of my biggest things, and one of my biggest also whys, is I always believe that we need to make sure that we are putting in the forefront people like myself who has been living with HIV for 5 years, and who is willing to help the community and can be in the community space. A lot of times, a lot of community-based organizations or people in general are able to go home and take their hats off. Someone like me is not able to go home and take my hat off. When I go to the bar, when I go to a club, when I go to an event, I still am in working mode because I am part of the community and I also serve the community.
Thank you. So as we close, we want to leave everybody who's paying attention today, even if they're not paying attention. If they're just viewing, we want to leave them with an I, a we, and a you. You is an action statement. So you just gave us some great I's, all right? So give us one more I that the people need to hear. I
believe that in the next few years, we won't hear about HIV anymore, that we will be making a next move on to something else, and I will be out of a job.
Thank you. Well, you'll always have a job because you're amazing. Vanessa, give us a we statement.
We have to do this work collectively and intentionally if we're going to end the epidemic by 2030.
I love that. And Darwin, a you, that's an action statement.
A you. You should engage anyone who is not, who is unaware of their status, and ensure that they either get an at-home test or that you take them to get tested.
I love that.
I love that too.
I love that. Thank you so much, panelists. I'd like to welcome Deb Telman and also Kelley Robinson. So ladies, tell us who you are, what you do, and where you do it.
Well, thank you. My name is Deb Telman. I go by she, her. I am the Executive Vice President for Corporate Affairs and General Counsel at Gilead Sciences. And I'm really pleased to be here with you.
Thank you.
I love it. My name's Kelley Robinson. I use she, her pronouns. I'm the president of the Human Rights Campaign.
Wonderful, and thank you both for being here. We're not going to be before you long, but I think when I see the two of you, I think of lyrics to a Little Kim song, actually. I think about money, power, and respect.
Come on now.
All right,
Yes,
and so
yes.
with that in mind,
Yes.
we both know that both of you are relatively new to your roles at Gilead Sciences and also here at the Human Rights Campaign, but you're not new to the work.
No.
So what I'd like for you all to share is a little bit about why this partnership is so important to you.
For Gilead, we're all about ending the HIV epidemic for everyone, everywhere. That's our ethos. That's what we think about. And as we thought about the partner we could work with, we could think of no better organization than the Human Rights Organization. It's a long history of civil rights with respect to the LGBTQ plus community. And if you think about Gilead Sciences, we're also focused in that community around ending the HIV epidemic. And we know we can't do it alone. We need partners like the Human Rights Campaign to help us to really fight and make strides around stigma, to make sure that we bring in voices to the table, voices irregardless of race, gender, geography, to help us end the HIV epidemic in those underserved communities. So this felt like the right kind of partnership, and we're really excited about it.
Well, I am so happy to be sitting here next to Deb because this is a powerful partnership in so many ways. I mean, one, I think it does mean a lot to be Black women leading this work and this movement, and to think about how that means we can move differently because of all that we've learned and experienced, not only in our careers, but in our lives. I mean, when I think about intersectionality, it's not a praxis or a theory, it's how I live my life every single day. And I think this partnership allows us to do the work of ending HIV in our generation, in this lifetime, but to do it intersectionally, right, where we all have access to it. The other thing that I think is really profound to me is that a lot of times people say that they're about doing the work. They say that they're all here for community, but they don't invest like it. This investment is transformative. This is Gilead Sciences partnering with the Human Rights Campaign in a way that we believe that we are going to win. And in this moment, in this fight, we have to put some skin in the game. We have to invest like we plan to win. We have to do the work together. And this partnership, this collaboration, is that in action.
Thank you. And it is a collaboration.
Yes, it's all about partnership.
It's all about partnership. And what I heard, both of you talked a little bit about how this really plays into the visions of your organizations, or our organization in this case. And I think that's absolutely wonderful. So Kelley, can you tell us a little bit more about how HRC, as what traditionally would be seen as a non-traditional partner, how we're going to do the work effectively, and how we can really change the narrative about folks thinking about us as a non-traditional partner.
Absolutely. You mentioned it in the first segment here, but in order for us to defeat this epidemic, in order for us to win this fight, we have to have non-traditional partners. We have to expand our reach and our focus and our platform so that we can bring the most people in as possible. Already in our partnership, we've been able to engage 14 million people across this country in the fight to end HIV. That's transformative, and we want to do more of that. We want to use a platform that the Human Rights Campaign has to also bring in more community-based organizations. Currently, we're partnering with over 100 CBOs. But the other thing for me is personal. I come to the Human Rights Campaign from Planned Parenthood. I was there for 13 years. And when I think about what's required to actually get to health equity, you have to do harm reduction work and make sure people have the direct services. You've got to change hearts and mind and culture and end stigma. And you also have to do the advocacy work to change the nature of power that is influencing our access to true equity. This partnership allows us to do all of those things at the same time. And the reason that I'm so committed to this work, when I was at Planned Parenthood and now that I'm here at HRC, is because I remember a time when we didn't get to tell the story of what it looked like for us to grow old. Too many Black women in my family have either been taken by this epidemic or have lost their lives because they poured everything that they had into us and not taken enough for themselves. This is literally about our lives as people of color, as Black women, as anyone that's impacted by this disease. This is a time that we can actually do something to change the course of history that's going to have a generational impact. I am deeply passionate and committed to that vision of what could be possible.
I almost do this piece of paper. That was absolutely phenomenal.
Yes, that was wonderful.
And that was the type of work that all of us are committed to. So thank you for that. So ladies, Black cisgender women, Black trans women, Black women are often underrepresented in the HIV movement, in HIV funding, in power structure when it comes to HIV. Can you tell us a little bit about what it means for your commitment as a Black woman? We know this year's United States Conference on HIV/AIDS, or USCHA, is a love letter to Black women, and Gilead Sciences is a big sponsor of that. Tell us what it means from your perspective as a Black woman doing this work.
No, that's a great question, and it's something I live and think about all the time. I think we bring our lived experiences to the discussion, and for me, it's really important to have a diverse viewpoint sitting around the table. Gilead Sciences is all about innovation, but in order to have innovation, you have to really bring broad swaths of people to really connect and to really be a part of the complex understanding of what's happening. So number one, that's really important. And as we look at Black women, we tend to not focus on our health because we tend to take care of other folks. So we need to have that voice in the room to make sure that our lived experience is there as we think about treatment and prevention. How are they getting access to information? Are they talking to the OBGYNs about it? Are they asking the right questions? So we have all of the experience we can bring to the table to make sure that that's a focus for not only for Black women, for brown women, for Asian women, for all women, because that's how we think and that's how we model our behavior. So that's why I'm really excited to be sitting next to this other fantastic Black woman who's leading the Human Rights Campaign, because I know between the two of us, we're going to make it happen.
Yes.
Kelley, there are going to be some folks who are wondering, we're saying Black, 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 Black. Why is this so important for Black women, the two of you in particular, to be faces of our respective organizations and really such a powerful tool of change?
You know, I have to say, I am honored to be sitting in this seat. I'm the first Black queer woman to lead the Human Rights Campaign. And I'm also clear that I didn't get here by accident. I got here because there were people like you that were forging the way through creating our programs, partnerships like the Gilead one that have made my existence possible. I'm also clear that, you know, if I look back in my family's history, 2 generations ago, my great aunt, they tell the story of her and my family often, she sat at the footsteps of people who were born into slavery. And now I have the honor of sitting right here, leading an organization, sitting next to one of the heads of Gilead, talking about how we are going to transform health equity in this country. That is powerful to me. And it's not only a testament to the resilience of Black women, the way that we lead from the front, the center, and the back, but it's also a statement to the imagination that we have to have. Because for us to be doing this work, we actually have to be able to envision a world that is more free, more liberated, more joyful, more equitable than anything we have seen, felt, or experienced in our lifetime. As Black women, we have to be futurists in that way, and it's built into our DNA. And I think the way that we lead creates a space for others to imagine that they can be just as free as we imagine too. And to me, that's kind of a really revolutionary part about the leadership. It's not just about the resilience, it's about the imagination and creativity to actually manifest a different sort of future.
So when I think about the future, I think about equity, and specifically health equity. And I know equity is at the core of everything that we do at HRC, but more specifically when it comes to our HIV work, when it comes to our transgender justice work, when it comes to the work of the HBCU program. So tell us, what do we have in store with this particular grant over the next 3 years and the direction that HRC is headed?
Let me tell you, I am excited because this is going to free us up to do the work that we know we need to do to actually win. And I feel like too often in movement, we're trying to figure out what we can do with 10 cents and a penny, how we can string together some chewing gum and a string to get to freedom, right? But with the resources that we have here, we can invest in transformational change. I think that looks like broad messaging campaigns to actually change the narrative on this issue and end stigma. We've got a great campaign, My Body, My Health, that is doing this and doing it in a way that centers Black and brown communities, that centers trans communities in this fight. And on top of that, the leadership programs that we've got. When I looked at that last panel, I'm telling you, the Elevate and Activate fellows that we have are really transforming leadership and allowing us to bring new people into the movement fight, not just for today, but to create a different legacy of what leadership can and should be. Between those 2 programs and also our direct work with CBOs across the country, if we are able to do this now, in an aggressive way, in a way that is showing that we plan to win this fight, we are going to achieve the outcomes that we're in search of. We are going to end this epidemic. This partnership allows us to do that. And I'm so proud and excited about what's going to come to fruition because of it.
I love that.
And thank you for mentioning Elevate and Activate by name, our 2 leadership programs for trans and non-binary folks of color. Also to Generate, which is a leadership development program for folks in HIV health equity work, and all of the leadership development that's happening under the direction of Leslie Hall and our HBCU programs. Futurists.
Yes.
I love that. I love that. So Deb, 3 years. We're going to be at you again in 2.5 years. So what do you expect from us in 3 years? How is this work going to transform stuff? The world.
So first of all, back to the prior panel, I really love the development of leaders and the peer-to-peer discussion that the Human Rights Campaign is going to bring to the table. Because we know there's a lot of distrust in our communities around how to access healthcare. So when you have peers who can have those conversations and bring people along, we know that's how you're going to transform people's lives. So I love that, and that's why we're partnering with an organization like the Human Rights Campaign, because they know how to do it. Storytelling is another important piece of how we learn, how we think about issues. So with the grant money we're giving to the Human Rights Campaign, we'll be able to tell enhanced storytelling and more public education around the HIV and landscape and where people need to go for resources, for testing, for care. And that's really important for us. Because again, we can bring the innovative therapies to market, but we need to get those therapies to the people who need it. And we know that need is so great in the Black and brown communities. And the expertise with the Human Rights Campaign and their closeness to those community organizations that have been mentioned is really paramount of how we really are going to end the HIV epidemic for everyone, everywhere.
Without question. Thank you for that. We always tell providers that you need to be multilingual. You need to be able to speak to all of your clients in ways that they get it.
Yes.
And so I am extremely proud of the fact that we are partnering, a collaboration, because we have folks who speak in the language of the community.
That's right.
It's really important work. So what have we missed? How about each of you closes up with an I statement, a we statement, and a you statement. And make sure that that you that you give to folks paying attention, the you is an action statement. So they take some of this and run with it. Kelley?
Yes.
I believe that we can win. We have to work collectively to make sure that we are getting to the other side of this, and it requires an investment by all of us. And what you can do is also believe that you can win and make sure that you're taking actions every single day to bring that to fruition, because for us to make this possible, it's going to require every single one of us doing everything that we can, every day that we can to win.
Thank you.
That's great. Well, I believe we're going to eradicate HIV in our lifetime. That's going to happen because we have people like Kelley and others who are really focused on it. I think we need partners. We need to be non-traditional. I love that phrase that Kelley used, because in order to really change lives, we can't use a cookie-cutter approach. We have to be culturally sensitive. You need to go back and talk to your friends and families and talk about this issue and make people comfortable with discussing health, particularly as it impacts Black and brown people.
Thank you all for joining us today. I believe that you got just a little bit of the power that's going to move forward with this amazing historic grant. We, Black trans women, Black people, HRC employees, the community, all of us are committed to making sure that equity exists in HIV. And you do something, do it well, and do it with intention. Thank you so much for being here today.
Thank you.